Hello, I'm John Halverson. I'm a teacher consultant for the Arizona Geographic Alliance, and today I'm going to share a lesson with you that is called Vote for Me. This is an 8th grade lesson, and it should take about 2 class periods. Our overview today is basically students need to understand their role in the democratic process, and through this understanding, they're going to develop a sense of the importance of participating in elections. And we're going to use today, what we're going to do is we're going to use a sample from school to make this easier for them to understand. The purpose of today's lesson will be for the students to evaluate the importance of participating in the electoral process, and we're going to pay particular attention to the right to vote. The materials that we're going to need for this lesson are you're going to have to collect some school statistics for the number of classrooms, the grade levels, the teachers, and you're going to need a school map. I'm going to give you some background information and important dates on voting history. We're going to, the kids are going to brainstorm a little bit on why they want to vote, and then we're going to do a mapping activity, and through that mapping activity, you're going to see how a candidate can strategically plan to get votes. You're going to analyze their own school map if you're running for office, and there's going to be a writing assignment in the end of who you will elect. The objectives today will be to collect information, create and analyze a map. You're going to create this map to analyze the power structure of a school, predict an outcome of an election, and take a stand on whether to vote or not. Voting, the kids need to understand that voting is all about power and money, and those are the two things that drive everything. So I'm going to give you, at the beginning of this lesson, I will give you some background information on what a representative democracy is, and there's also some information on important dates in voting history. That's part of the PowerPoint that you have before you. After we do that, the students are going to, they're going to work on a sheet, and what the sheet does is it's 2-columned, and they're going to brainstorm. This is before we present any activity to them. Why it's important to vote and why it's not. Why some people may think it's not important to vote, because it can work both ways, and students need to be able to see both sides of this issue. Now, for this activity, I went and collected the demographics for my own school. And what you see here is a chart, and it lists teachers' names. Our school happens to work on a concept of using teams, but not everybody does, and that'll become clearer when we look at another piece of the work we're going to do here. But teams, the number of students on each team, what grade level they are, their physical location on the campus, and then we're going to color code it. And the reason we're going to color code it is we want the students to be able to look at a map easily and be able to analyze what is going on in that map. And essentially you'll see that the same thing is happening up here, that they are collecting that information. And then I charted each team and the number of kids on there, and we did a percentage of the student body from each team, because I wanted the kids to be able to see that while it looks like there's a big disparity, it's not necessarily so. And then the kids took each of the teachers and they color-coded them, and they, for instance, along here are all the OWL classrooms, and these are all purple. And what I wanted the students to be able to see when they did this is that not everybody is equally represented, that there are pockets of power, that the 7th grade, some of the 7th graders have places that they are more in power, some of the 8th graders, and then some of the 8th graders are more separated out. That's what we need to get from collecting information for the map. And you're going to need to be able to do this at your own school. And most every school, I don't know any schools that don't, have a map that they can use. And you're just going to have the kids collect information as to how the names of the teachers and how many students each is in there. And what they're going to do is they're going to fill it out on this form. And this form will give you your demographics. And you don't have to use every column on here, but the key columns would be the teachers, the number of students, grade level, location, color, team. A lot of schools don't use teams, but grade level is important because we want to be able to see if more power is held by different grade levels. And the color to color code whatever map you are using for your students. Once the students have done all that, they are going to do an analysis. They're going to do an analysis of what is going on their own school map. And what you see is they will do an analysis of where the grade levels are concentrated, where the largest number of students are, and where would you place signs? Where would you strategically place signs to influence those people that you wanted to vote for, or have you vote for them? Where can you get more support? Where don't you need so much support from? And then what they're going to do is they're going to make a prediction. Make a prediction about who might win this election. The second session of this is they're going to take the second session, which would be the second day or second block, whatever you use, is they're going to take a stand, and they are going to, you're going to say that the student is running for student council president, and based on a mapping activity, you need to decide if you want to run or not. And there are 3 different writing prompts for this writing assignment. And one of the writing prompts talks about what issues you would use for improving the school. Another one of them is, do you want the responsibility? You may not want to. You want to state 5 ways that you would support somebody who is running. Or the third possibility could be just why voting in a school election is important. And this will set kids up for understanding the rights and responsibilities as they go along through life, getting them ready to become part of the voting public. And finally, for the writing assessment, you'll use the 6-trait rubric, or primarily concentrating on organization and ideas and content. For the assessment, ticket out the door for the first day will be just the importance of voting. Again, we will use the worksheets and 80% or better completion on there. On the worksheets is considered mastery, and then finally we will use the 6-trait rubric with content and ideas and organization as our key points. Finally, there is an extension activity that I've included here, which is who will you elect? And we present 4 different students with 4 different agendas, and what you will need to do is you're going to have to have the kids decide who would they support and why, and they would write a essay based on that. Thank you.